Hey guys, Uncommon Ramen here. Today I'm going to be taking a look at a expansion to a game that I didn't think was going to actually hit retail. This is Dead Men Tell No Tales, the Kraken expansion. Dead Men Tell No Tales is it's a cooperative game where you and your shipmates are raiding a sinking ghost ship and trying to get the treasure from it before it sinks. And while you're doing that, you have to make sure that you keep the deckhands under control, or you could lose. You have to make sure you keep the fires under control, or you could lose. And you also have to fight dread captains and whatnot while you're doing it. The Kraken expansion is supposed to add the Kraken to it. So now not only is the boat on fire, but now you got this Kraken who's also trying to bring this boat underneath the waves. This was a Kickstarter, and when I had read about it, and I could have probably read wrong, I could have sworn they said that they were not going to do a retail release of it because it didn't make sense. The cost for it would make the cost for the retail product too high, is what I remember them saying. But I did find this on a retail shelf. And whether that was a store that ordered the Kraken as a retail pledge, I don't know, because I haven't seen it on any other shelves. But either way, here it is. Dead Men Tell No Tales, the Kraken. So we're just going to jump into this. I think the big part here is that the Kraken actually has miniatures associated to it, and usually only the characters have that, so it's extra plastic, and I could see how that could be a challenge for retail, but I don't know. Like I said, I was under the impression that we weren't supposed to see this in retail. So take the lid off. Got ourselves the rule book here. I mean, it comes with 15 tentacles plus the Kraken figure itself, as well as the miniature for the new character. So we get 5 deckhands and 7 deckhand leaders. So they're making the deckhands harder. But we got cannons too. Interesting. Interesting set of components. So I guess because we're adding the Kraken, we're going to have a new set of setup rules, which I guess makes sense. Sorry. So we got some new pirate actions too, which again makes sense. Although, to be honest with you, I've played this a couple of times, and it does not need to be harder than it already is. So it'll be interesting to see, as I add this to my game, what kind of challenge this also brings into it. Because it is very easy for the fires to get out of hand, not to mention the deckhands themselves getting out of hand. One of the first games that I ever played, we did nothing to really keep the deckhands under control, and the character I was playing wasn't necessarily super combat savvy, and I got separated from the rest of the party in, I believe, a flaming room with a deckhand between me and the room, the only escape that I had, and I was having difficulty defeating the deckhand, ironically, and I think I ended up dying because of that. I don't remember for sure if that was the exact way it went, but I remember being trapped between a room that was on fire and my escape with a deckhand between us, and me not having the proper tools to remove said deckhand. So anyway, that is the rule book. Got ourselves a punch sheet here, which appears to only have one thing on it, so we're just going to go ahead and punch that. Which is the strength and health board for the Kraken, I guess. And we have yet another punch board here, and this punch board has gold and trapdoors on it, as well as the character token and some tokens here that I'm not really sure what they are. My guess is this gold is cursed, and that's why the Kraken's here. Next up, we're going to have some cards in here. I'm going to pull these guys out. So we have the new item, which is an axe that is specifically for attacking tentacles for the Kraken, or the Kraken, I guess. Yeah. We have a new character, Black Gus Garrett. Another new character, Swivel Gun Sandy. Is Black Gus new? Or is this just a... Maybe it's an errata. Because they don't have a character for that one, but they have a character for this one. Then we have... I guess that was the right way. This appears to be the suction cups of tentacles. If I had to take a guess, I would say this is the movement of the Kraken, or has something to do with the Kraken, obviously. These cards double-sided? Yes. Oh, this is player aids. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so these are the new player aids. Specifically for the tentacles. Get some plastic bags in here. These are for the tokens, I assume. We have a nice little drawstring bag here. Not really sure what that's for yet. The nifty new dice in here, it's gray. And our little wooden tokens. Let's take a look inside here. Alright, we have this weird looking tentacle thing, which I'm sure has something to do with tracking the Kraken in some way, shape, or form. We have our 5 little deckhand dudes, which are the same ones that you would get in the base game. We also have our new little cannons, which basically just look like a rudimentary cannon right there. And then we have our deckhand leaders. I'm sure these guys are much worse than the deckhands themselves, which, aside from blocking your path, they don't really do much else. So maybe the leaders make them more powerful, or who knows what the leaders do. But I'm sure it's probably not a good thing. And then we have this little heart with a chip in it for keeping track of somebody's health. And the last thing in the box is going to be the tentacles and the Krakens. We're just going to quickly take a look at some of the stuff. So obviously we also have a character and a new character standee to indicate the color, which is like a sickly yellow greenish color. She is dual wielding swords of some sort and just looks like a menace to society. That's typical for pirates. We'll take a look at our little Kraken's head. He looks like a deep sea insect of some sort. But I mean, you know, nice. Definitely loving the sculpt for that. Next up, we'll look at the 5 tentacles that are just protruding out of the water and not kind of curling back into the water. So we've got our actual tentacles with the hand part still out of the water. And again, these are just really beautiful sculpts. They look incredible. And then the last tentacle we can look at, I won't pull all of them out because there's no reason, but these are the tentacles that are swooping back underneath the waves. Or in this case, it looks like they're actually swooping into the ship and then down through the ship. So I'm assuming these are anchoring it down and pulling it in, you know, purposely doing damage. But again, the sculpt on these is just really impressive. The base, the actual figure, it's really well done. I wonder, is this one coming? Yeah, this one's coming out of the ship too. So these are tentacles like inside the ship, whereas this guy, I assume, is sitting somewhere on the outside of the ship. But he just looks like he wants you out of the water. Like, this is his sea. But anyway, that is what you get with the Kraken expansion. It is supposed to add a new level of yikes to the game, and honestly, between our little deckhand leaders here and the Kraken, I can definitely see how they definitely added a extra yikes level to this. If you have played the original game, the deckhands themselves, for the most part, like I said, they don't really do anything. However, if there are too many on the ship, you can lose the game. And essentially what it comes down to is if you have to place a deckhand and there are no more deckhands left in the deckhand pile, then you lose the game. Aside from that, they do block pathways too. So you do have to defeat them in order to get from one place to another if you're in a place that doesn't have multiple access ways. And so these guys can easily pop up in areas where it makes it very difficult for you to move around. So keeping their numbers low is actually really good. So I'm really curious to see what the deckhand leaders have to bring to this, because I'm sure at this point the deckhands go from being an annoyance to probably a threat. And it's really interesting to see the cannon. I'm assuming the cannon is used to kill the Kraken or possibly the tentacles, although the tentacles are inside the ship. Granted, you could probably just turn the cannon around. That's why they have wheels. But I'm assuming that's what these are for, as well as the new weapon, which allows you to slice tentacles and just otherwise damage the Kraken. But all in all, this is a very interesting cooperative game that is very difficult, but very entertaining. And that's all, guys. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe down below. And yeah, feel free to leave comments down below, questions. I'll get back to them as soon as I can. And let's keep the comments positive, guys. I will be removing any negative comments from the video because we don't need that. And if you feel the need to support me, please hit me up on my Patreon at patreon.com/uncommonramen, capital U, capital R. I do all of this in my free time, so any amount of support will help me bring more of this content to you more often. And guys, until next time, peace.